My research has focused on a number of different elements related to looking at water resources in the context of interconnected systems that have different components. So my focus has been on, I guess, first the analysis and design and operation of open channel systems. That would be rivers and canals and drains. And then secondly, the analysis of flow and water quality in what we might call shallow groundwater systems, that is aquifers that have a water table that's very close to the ground surface as opposed to deep aquifers. I've done a fair amount of work related to water quality as it is impacted by and as it impacts irrigated agriculture, particularly focusing on salinity and selenium as pollutants in that water, and a variety of other aspects of evaluating and improving irrigation and drainage water systems in general that, you know, have as their objective moving water out onto the land to irrigate productive crops. Most of my current work that I'm engaged in is focusing on a particular river basin here in Colorado. In fact, it's the largest watershed in the state of Colorado, which is the Arkansas River Basin. And a lot of the work I'm doing is focusing around a number of problems that have arisen within that river valley related to the intensive irrigation and drainage that is done and has been conducted in that valley for over 100 years now. My graduate students work both in collecting the data in the field using a variety of different technologies, but also then analyzing that data and using it as a platform for building these computer models that we can then utilize to help us make decisions about what the best engineering interventions in the system would be to bring about the changes that need to be brought about in the river and in the underlying groundwater aquifer and in the irrigation and drainage system itself. There are a number of different areas that I think are currently emerging in the water resources area in general that are going to shape the futures of our students as they leave Colorado State University. The first is one that I think comes to many people's minds when they think about water in Colorado, and that is the growing competition for the limited resource that we have here in the semi-arid West. We're seeing within our own state, and this has been accentuated recently by the drought that we've encountered over the last few years. We're seeing an increasing tension among economic sectors in our state, urban and municipal areas competing for water with agriculture. So I think engineers are going to be increasingly needed to help sort out some of the more technical questions that impinge upon our ability to grapple with those kinds of tensions, let's say. Environmental issues related to water quality are continuing to grow at a pretty, it's seemingly rapid pace here in Colorado. One of the major issues that we're grappling with right now in the Arkansas Valley relates to selenium, which is a trace element that shows up in very small quantities typically in natural waters, but when it gets up to a certain concentration can begin to have a pretty significant detrimental impact on aquatic life. Civil engineers are going to be needed to adequately sort through those issues and determine how we can best change the way we're currently using and managing water to improve water quality as well as improve the distribution of quantities of water to meet the varied needs that we have across the state.